fine. We are coping at least. How about you?
I've been well. I've been reinventing myself because it's the first time I'm experiencing this kind of staying at home for almost 3 months now, running to 3 months. So I've been reinventing, learning new things, improving my skills in different areas, adding to my wealth of knowledge and so many other things. So it's
Absolutely. I know that quite right. There have been a lot of online free program courses from different universities, giving people free opportunities to impart, also add to the value of knowledge, which we, of course, we know is very essential in this present age.
Very true. Very true. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining. We would like to ask you to kindly share. Okay, just a moment. Our guest is on. We'd like to kindly ask you to share this video as our guest is actually here waiting to join us in a moment. So we'll be having him online in just a second. So we'd like you to invite others at this moment. Let them join the platform. A lot of people were expecting us online yesterday, and we have apologized. We're still apologizing again for the technical difficulties we had yesterday. But today, it promises to be an exciting time. Now, our guest, like I said to you yesterday, is a very special person to me and to our whole world. He's an inspiring young man, an inspired man, okay? And for you young ladies out there, don't be looking out for any other thing else. He's married with children, and he has been inspiring a lot of people in different areas. He has been handled lots of tutoring and training programs for different major organizations, banking industry, and even churches and companies, the whole of West Africa and beyond. I believe he has also visited, his impact has gone to America and I think UK and Europe and all that. And very soon he'll be coming to Russia, hopefully. So without wasting much time, he is a social entrepreneur, one of a kind, one of the best in the market, one of the best in the world right now. And he will be joining us in the next 5 minutes. So I'd like you to prepare the next 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds, and making sure that so we can give him all the stage to do all he has to do today. So he'll be joining us in the next 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So you just get ready. What I want you to do is invite people, let people know that it's on. The platform Russia, it's on. Again, the last time we had a special interview with the ambassador of Nigeria to Russia and Belarus, and we were all inspired by the things he shared with us on the platform. So today we're going entrepreneurial, and today he will be giving us more information on that. So kindly share this link to others so that they can also participate as well. Thank you very much. So Afolabi, are you ready for this? What is your expectation?
I'm very, very ready. My pen is with me. My pad is ready. And to be honest with you, our viewers are quite excited. People want to learn. People are already thinking about post-COVID, ideology, digital entrepreneurial, how to make money. So I'm sure everybody's going to go home with something this evening.
Okay, just a moment. Just a moment. Okay, I'm told the music is too loud, so I'm reducing the music a bit. Just a moment, this is interesting. All right, okay, yeah, here we go. So we are excited. In fact, without wasting much time, let's jump into it because the way I'm seeing him now, he's ready to dish out lots of things. So I'm excited. Afolabi, I'm sure you're excited, right?
I'm over excited, actually, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. So we will be inviting Mr. Kelechi to join us in this discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Mr. Kelechi Anyalechi. Hello, Kelechi. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good.
I'm really, really excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you for the interesting introduction. Appreciate
Of course, I didn't do justice. I believe I should have
it.
done more than what I did already. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sure, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much for actually giving us the privilege of hosting you on this platform. Now, our audience basically are mostly people on this part of the world, Russia. Okay, and they are here expecting because we've really told them about the program. So there's so much people are expecting to hear from you because of the question, the issue. People want to know more. What else they can do to improve their lifestyle? So you already know my co-host, Mr. Folabi, that is online. So we will be hearing from you and expecting to be inspired in various areas on entrepreneurship, what people can do. Basically, the topic is reinventing yourself. Reinventing yourself. So we would like to hear from you. Introduce yourself. Tell us about you more so that our viewers can know you personally and also how you are doing under these conditions.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'd like to share my screen. Oh, okay. Anyways, it's fine if I can share it. My name is Kelechi Anyalechi, and I know that I wear several hats. First of all, I'm a management consultant, and by that I mean, but generally everything I do revolves around the human capacity development space. I've been playing around this space for about 11 years now professionally. So I have a management consulting aspect of what we do. I'm also into corporate training, like you mentioned earlier on. So we've been privileged to facilitate trainings for organizations, both national and then local and international organizations as well, government and non-government organizations on soft skills, different trainings, interventions. I'm also a training coach, so we also provide coaching services also for on a group level and also on a personal levels for individuals, corporate organizations, and also people who are really driven and want to achieve, their goals and everything they want in life. And that's one of the major core areas that I do. So when I say I'm a social entrepreneur, of course, I also have other areas of interest of work that we do that are also for profit and also non-for-profit. So we have a non-profit organization that provides education, leadership, and enterprise development programs for young people, youths, especially those who are what we may call underserved. So we reach out to those ones who may not be able to afford some of our services, but need it, because I know something for sure that the young person who goes to a private school and the young person that goes to the public school, 10, 15 years, it won't matter. Each person might be affected by the policies created by whoever.
Sure.
And so we also created that mentoring platform for them. We also have the for-profit as well, where we also create programs for young people. But more of everything I do has been involved at different levels, and that's the beautiful thing and amazing and also humbling, because when I think about it, I'm like, Lord, how am I able to handle this? But, at different levels, so the young ones, the adults, the professionals, those at the lower level of us, they are starting their career. We have programs for them. Entrepreneurs also, people who either actually started their businesses or they want to scale up, a whole lot. And it's really been an amazing journey. We've been able to train thousands of people across the world, both through our physical trainings and also other online programs that we run as well.
Okay, the online programs you have, can we, because at the moment where we are now, we would like to know more about that. Our viewers, I'm sure, would like to, after this program, because they would want to know how they can access you. It's possible for us to get those details so we can send to all our viewers.
Sure, I'll do that. So we have different online programs. There are programs that we have that actually help to teach people, success. For me, one of the best definition of success is that success is the achievement of predetermined goals. So the only way you can be able to measure your level of success is based on the goals that you have set for yourself. And so we teach people, one of our online programs, how to, and I realize a lot of time what people call goals are not their goals. So we teach people how to set their right goals, and then life and practical principles of which they are able to learn how to achieve their goals, manage their time, manage themselves. Because it's one thing for you to learn how to set your goals. It's another thing for you to know how to manage yourself, manage your time. I mean, there are a lot of things that are calling for our attention every day.
Yes.
But how are you able to, galvanize and get everything going at the same time and make sure that every part of it is successful? Because all parts of our lives are very important. And sometimes people pay attention to one or two aspects of their life. They don't pay attention to the other aspects. And the truth is that sometimes when there's a defect in one aspect, it has a rippling effect across. So for example, before now, people probably need to pay a lot of attention to health.
Okay.
But now people are now learning to see the impact of health.
True.
I mean, COVID-19 is a health risk,
yes,
but it's crippling economies. People are having jobs, so it's affecting people's finances, affecting relationships, it's affecting jobs across board. I mean, there are stories of where people, I'm not trying to sell negative news, but I'm just trying to say what's been happening. So there are stories that in some countries, because people have been on the lockdown, divorce has been on the increase.
Oh, divorce, yeah, very true. I heard about that as well.
Increase because there had been increase in cohabitation. Some people have been using their work as excuse. So they just manage to come back from work, manage a few hours, and early morning the next day they're out. But now that they were forced to stay home with their spouses, there were crises and they couldn't handle it. People have, finances, businesses, a lot of things have been affected directly or indirectly just because of one aspect of one's life, which is health. So one of the things we teach in our online program is to make sure that all these dimensions of your life are working properly and connected. And it's something that anybody can access anywhere in the world. It's an online program. We have also post-coaching programs as well, where we actually literally guide people, get them accountable to help them ensure that they achieve their goals. If anybody is interested, of course, at the end, I would send out some details so they can get some more information out.
Okay. Wow, viewers, you've heard him. That's a whole lot of a whole package for how you can improve yourself, your knowledge base, and also your skills and all that. So we'll be sending after this. We'll be giving you more information on how you can contact him personally, maybe privately, if you want to have some coaching lessons or improve your business or have him around for what you want to have him around for. So we'll let you know, then you'll contact us. Then from there, we'll send more information to you about what you can do. So without wasting much time, how is it for you personally on this COVID-19? What's your opinion? What's your view about the world system right now, politically, economically, and emotionally as well?
Well, the whole COVID-19 came as a surprise to everybody. And to be honest, one of the things it has taught me is that nothing in life, and I don't want to go so spiritual, but nothing in life is permanent, nothing is fixed. People have been able to give economic forecasts were made the last year for businesses, for finance, for organizations and all. Nobody saw this coming, so it was difficult to plan. Honestly, when it started, I was living in denial. And in denial of the sense of, this is not happening. Every day I was going online and I'm seeing this thing. I was like, okay, thank God it's in China. Oh, it's still there. Because I'm kind of since last year, but I didn't give it that much, attention, if I use that word. Like what it started increasing, coming closer. Then it got to Nigeria. We had the first index case. And I was like, oh no, everybody was saying they were going to lock down. And I'm like, how? It's not possible. How are you going to lock everybody down? So initially, I was a bit, because I had a lot of plans and things I needed to do. And I was a bit I won't call it unstable, I was really concerned. Okay. And one of the times we had a prayer session, the first prayer session we had in our church, and all that, everything changed from that day. I won't say I lost interest, because before now in Nigeria, I was following the information by the hour. Every hour I was checking online how many cases. My own was, I was just saying that there will not be enough cases that would justify a lockdown in Nigeria. That was why I was checking it, and I was getting a bit concerned. But after that first prayer session, it just dawned on me that, hey, man, no matter what it is, we're going to come out of this. And regardless of what it is, the most important thing of what I've also learned in life is that it is not really what happens to you that matters the most, how you respond.
True.
So I started looking at my response. This has happened. We don't have control over it. So how can I respond? And so from that day, I started having, an entire turnaround in quotes, in changing a lot of things, making adjustments in my work, in my business, and every other thing that I wanted to do. I won't say it's not been challenging, but you see, there's a piece I have in my heart because, and this is one of the things we teach, and I also, we have at the goal when we teach at the goal certain, our goal to go. It's called the Goal Getter online course. Okay. When you're setting your goals, we always say to you that you can be rigid in your goals, but be flexible in the approach. So that flexibility and that adaptability are two important skills that one needs. And so this has happened, and for me, it is how can I begin to adjust, in quotes, post this, not even post while this is going on, and then while the whole thing, because it might likely take a while. Different countries are responding differently to this, and certain things because of the political aspect of it as well, which we may not need to dive into, but it's also part of it. So the political landscape will also affect a great deal how this whole COVID-19 is going to be handled. It's not going to be handled the same way in different countries. Okay. And that's where there's also a bit of concern. Sometimes I follow a few, I'm not as conscious as before, but why I'm also going through now across the world is I'm looking at how leaders are handling it. I'm looking at the political landscape around it, and then seeing where people can begin to plug opportunities on time, as against the other. But generally, it's an interesting experience.
Okay, I don't know if I follow you have something to ask. So
I think that's for me is detailing. When he was talking about the changing and adaptability, and you referring to goal setting, some people do believe that when you set a goal, when you set a particular agenda to yourself, no matter what comes the situation, there is a need for you to be rigid to that which you set your mind to. Mr. Kelechi, if I'm going to ask you this question, changing goalposts in goal setting, is this something you will advise to our viewer that, okay, if there is a change in situation, there's a need for you to change what you set your mind to do? Is this something advisable in achieving or attaining a particular project or goal in life?
Okay, yeah, sure. Now, it depends because I know where you're coming from. There are things we have control over, and there are things you don't have control over. By that, I mean, for example, to some extent, you may not have control over waking up. By God's grace, God wakes us up every morning. But you have the responsibility, you have the control to get up from your bed. You have that opportunity to step out, to stay back and do every other thing. So with your goals, there are things you can control. And even with being rigid with your goals, you also need to, that's why I talked about that flexibility. It depends, because there are times where you might hold on to a certain goal, and doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result can work. So let me use, so that we can relate in business. So I want to make, let's say, $1 million or something, and in my business. And I use my same approach I've used, my advertising, my strategic, every plans I put in place before my strategic objectives. And maybe that was in 2019, and I used that exact way, and I got just maybe $200,000. It won't be smart for me to want to use that same approach again in another year to be able to achieve the $1 million. So certain things might be the same. I may say, yes, I'm not stepping down from that $1 million goal, but I might change my approach as to how I'm going to get it. And let me bring it to this experience. Yes, we may not all be able to, nobody may be able to control, nobody saw this coming. There was no forecast around this, even though some conversation had gone on in the world through some people saying that it was going to be a pandemic much later. But the world was never really prepared for this. But what are the basic needs that everybody wants today? The spiritual development or spiritual care. You have the financial aspect of it. You have relationships. You have your health. You have your career. These are basic needs, and of course, shelter. So most importantly, you're working because you want to get money to take care of yourself, to handle some other needs that you require and all that, which is very important. Now, the question is, how am I going to get the money? How am I going to get things running? How am I going to create that liquidity? that flexibility can be there. So even if there's post-COVID, and this year you said to yourself, I'm doing that $1 million, you don't need to. It's not a must. And that depends on there's what they call scenario planning that also gets involved when you're doing things like that's why I said certain things are not universal. So in Africa, in Lagos, for example, 2 weeks ago, we had the lockdown was lifted for about 2 weeks. Now we are going into another second phase. In Russia, I'm aware that they're still on complete lockdown. So I might not be able to come to say to you that this is the exact way because of how it's working here in Lagos. It will work in Russia, or it will work in America, or work in some other country, in UK or Japan. But the one who wants to still be rigid and saying to himself that these goals that I have set for 2020, I must still achieve them. But the question will now be, how can I do it? So I may not be able to go to my workplace like I used to before because I didn't have control over that. But I have control over certain other things that I can do. Probably some online business, some online work that I can do. Nobody stops you from doing that. That I can still sit down and think and say, oh, before I was earning $5,000 monthly for my work. I was paid that as a salary. I can't get paid by my office, but there's a business I can do, or there's an investment that I can, get involved with, or I can start that can get me going. So that's where that being rigid and adaptability comes in. Don't be too quick to lose down or bring down your goals. Don't be too quick, except you've done your review and you have found out that you didn't get certain things straight, and maybe your goal was too big, because sometimes we set big goals. One of the things we do, and I do different apart from online programs, is that I have what I call a goals review session I do with people, where I actually help them analyze their goals. It's usually a one-on-one session because our goals are separate and different. So there are questions and things that we need to go and dig with you. And more often than not, people find out eventually at the end that, oh, this was not the right goal. Some people step up their goal and some get to step down. But it's good you do that at the beginning, but not midway and you just assume, let me close shop and say, So, like some people have done already, say 2020 is gone. Some people are already planning for 2021. 2020 has gone. No. Let's manage and stay at home. That's not the spirit. That's not the mindset that you should have. Because once you have that, your mind will shut down.
True.
That's it.
True. Okay, wow. Having said that, I think you're already on the right track. So maybe you should just flow from there. But I just have a few things to probably introduce our viewers on the topic. Viewers, thank you again for joining us. With us today, we have Mr. Kelechi, Anyalechi. If you're just joining us, welcome to the platform, Russia. We are discussing reinventing yourself. Okay, reinventing yourself in this season, now and after, and also for all seasons. Because for us to thrive in a new world, we need to become new people. We need to become different kinds of people. The world we had in the 90s is not the world we have right now. So you need to always reinvent yourself with time and change. So without wasting much time, Mr. Kelechi is going to go ahead and give us skills, because I have my notes to put down some things as well as we are ready. But while he's doing that, if you kindly have questions, if you have questions or comments or suggestions, please let us know, because we'll be asking them live on this channel, and he will be answering them as well. Thank you. So, Mr. Kelechi, over to you, sir.
All right, thank you. So let me just continue from where I was. Okay. Now that we are where you are, I always say this, that your best brand asset is you being able to understand yourself. Many of us might probably be at home, you may not be able to, business is shut down, or the work you're doing is shut down, but your mind is not shut down. Your life is not shut down. And so you must start again and that's why I love the topic, reinventing yourself. This is at the time for you to begin to start looking inwards, asking yourself questions, who am I? There are three questions I always like to ask people. And I see this a lot of times that, we go out every day and everybody carries what I call like a mask. When we go out, when we're online, on social media, there's a mask that we carry. That mask, sometimes shows everything is going on well, everything is cool and calm. That mask seems to give us an identity in quotes. But the three important questions I always like to ask, number one is, who are you? Why are you here? What do you want? I'll say it again, and I'll take them. Who are you? When I ask people, a lot of times I've had opportunities to ask this question, who are you? I find that people define themselves through a lot of things that they associate with. So who are you? I'm a banker. Who are you? I'm an entrepreneur. Who are you? I'm married.
I'm a wife.
I'm a married man. I'm a wife. I'm a father. I'm a mother. Who are you? I'm a billionaire. Who are you? I'm a millionaire. We use a lot of things that are external to attach ourselves, to give ourselves some form of identity. And it's one of the major reasons for depression. Because when these things are taken away from us, we lose our self-identity. So I ask people, I'd say, if you leave your job, and this is one of the things painfully that this COVID-19, the pandemic is causing. A lot of people are losing their identity because all the things, or most of the things they kind of use to identify themselves with, are taken off from them. So you need to go back and ask yourself, so when you're at home, maybe, and you go to bed, you're lying down, you want to sleep, you lie down, at least those few minutes of transition before you sleep, the lights are shut down, shut off and everything, you're just by yourself. What are the things in your mind? Do you feel fulfilled? Are you happy? Is there that sense of fulfillment? Is that sense of belonging that comes to you? So you must start from there, first of all. Who are you? Why are you here? In other words, you're not a speck in the dust. So what are you here to achieve? What were you brought into this world for? For what purpose or for what reason? It's important that you ask yourself that question. Why am I here? Why am I in this world? Because when you don't, we take anything that comes to us.
True.
And number three is, what do you really want? I use the word really because you can ask, what do you want? Everybody, and I want money. I want this. I want that. Some people for them, what do you want now? I want a husband. And they feel that everything will be okay. And painfully, the thing is, some of the things that you are desiring are some of the things that people are trying to run away from. So for example, in Nigeria, a lot of young people today aspire to be bankers. But I've done a lot of training for bankers at different levels, and many of them are trying to run out of the bank. So that thing that you're desirous of, so what do you really want, is something that one needs to sit and ask themselves. So three important questions. Because first one, if you don't know who you are, you'll be vulnerable to what any other person says about you. If you don't know what you want, you will take anything that comes your way. If you don't know why you are here, you would live your life based on what people tell you should be your reason for being here in existence. So for example, I don't take every opportunity. I don't handle every business. I don't take everything that comes because I know why I'm here. And so if I can't find my purpose, if I can't find my personal vision, if I can't find what I have been called to do on a generic level in any of these opportunities you are giving me, and none of them gives me that level of expression, I don't accept it.
True.
And those are some of the things that have helped me. Why am I'm not speaking from someone who has not gone through some experience. When I was in university, I was a very excited person. People loved me. I was hyper about everything I was doing. All my work, everything was amazing. But the truth was, there was a missing vacuum. I believe that I made a wrong career choice. And every day while I was in school, it haunted me. But there was that fear of, I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know how to come back to tell my parents that, oh no, I studied the wrong course, because I studied sciences. With what I do today, there's no connection to it. I know I shouldn't have done that in the first place. And I struggled with the program. I struggled with the course. However, I managed to go through school, managed to finish university, and where it started hitting me the most was when it was my youth service. The 3 weeks orientation camp that we do here in Nigeria was tough for me, because I was getting close to a point where my career was supposed to start having an expression. And I didn't have that level of fulfillment because I only got to school, I would just read, cram, pass the exam, and it's gone. So now I told myself that even if there was going to be an opportunity, I studied in physics and industrial physics and kind of tried to major a bit of geophysics. But I said, even if I got a job in an oil company with Shell or Mobil or any of those things, I wasn't sure I was going to be at my best in it. And even if I was going to have an opportunity to teach, I wasn't sure that I'd be able to teach physics very well. Not like I was dull, but I didn't have interest. So I started looking for what were the next alternatives that I could do. My dad was a director in a stockbroking firm at that time. And I mean, the stock market here in Nigeria was booming. I remember he told me a story, he gave me encouraged me to go and do a professional course. It's called CIA, Chartered Institute of Stockbroking. So you become a chartered stockbroker and you are the ones that are allowed to trade. And the government had brought up a new policy then that they were only going to allow stockbrokers who were chartered to be allowed to trade. I mean, coming out of school, and my dad had told us how, they tried to hire one. They gave him an offer then. At that time, it was about 700,000 naira. At that time, 700,000 naira was over $5,000. Yeah. They gave him a 10% profit sharing with a car, and the guy turned down the work. I got out of school. When my dad was telling me, I said, what, 500K a month? I said, please, where can I buy the form? So I went, purchased the form. There are 3 levels of the course. I did the first level, I passed. At the second level, I'm going for lectures, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I started losing interest. So I managed, did the second level. I passed some courses, I didn't pass the other one. And then after some time, the stock market crashed. So there was not that much interest in it again. And then a friend of mine, please, I know why I'm giving the story. A friend of mine called me one day and said, hey, there's another fantastic professional course that is the ACCA. ACCA is for the accounting qualification. Now, this is a science guy who now they're not even bringing financial, do ACCA. And the beautiful thing about ACCA is that it gives you a foreign degree. When you are done with the program, it's an international, well-recognized. You just need to do one conversion program to have the Nigerian one, which is called ICANN. Here as well. And it's so fantastic. If you travel out of the country, you can use that qualification to work. Fantastic. My eyes were just, oh, wow. So I dropped that one halfway. I picked up the ACCA form and started. I did the first stage, got to the second stage. I'm going for tutorials and I'm like, what's going on here? Started losing interest. And of course, time was not waiting for me. Time was already ticking.
Yeah.
Now, I'd come out of camp. I was already trying to do all those different things. In between, I tried some IT programs. I wanted to do CCNA, Oracle. I got all those. I got some books, heaps, there was one of them, the size of this one, about over 700 to 800 pages, and I had 4 of it. I said, we're going to do these IT programs. I gathered all the books, printed them. I was ready. That one, thank God, at least I didn't pay at all, but I just left the thing there. Then another one came again. I was waving project management, PMP. It was booming. They say it was the most expensive certification in the world, blah, blah, blah. Fantastic. I went for the preparatory program. I registered for the exams. Now, this was the funny, interesting thing. When I came out of the project management program, I told myself that, I now have found the course that I loved. Now, later, I now know that was not really the reason. Because I left it at that, the professional exam, you can choose your dates. I paid for it. I kept shifting the date until one day I forgot to shift. And once your date passed, your money is gone. My money was gone. So I'm not paying again. That left. Now, time had been ticking. I finished NYC. I was really trying to get a job. No, I didn't get the job immediately. I was doing these programs first to get another job. And then at some point, I stopped all of them. I went into business. I traveled. I used to travel outside the country, travel to Dubai, bring in stuff, bring it to Nigeria, sell, make some money. Then one day, I just closed my eyes and I said, 5 years into now, I tried to picture the next 5 years of my life. And what I saw, I didn't like it. It was like a flash. I said, no. So maybe this business I was doing was not me. So and how bad it was that I did this business. I took a facility because and that was another thing. I didn't know some things then. I wanted to go big. So I traveled big. I didn't start small. I went with millions of naira. And then I had my own, I got some money. I was in debt. But I lost the interest of the business I was doing at that time, trying different things. And at some point I got tired. I was owing left, right, center. Thank God for family, thank God for family and how they were able to help me in some way or the other. But I got to a point where I started asking myself these 3 questions. Now, beautifully enough, people outside didn't know what was going on. Some of my friends didn't know what was happening. I was bubbling. I was inspiring people. I was an inspiration to many people. But they didn't know that inside I was burning. I want to know I was having this challenge. I was having this, nobody knew. When I was telling even my wife now, before we got married, she was like, what? Because we attend the same church. There was nothing of me that showed, I was going through this cycle. But one day, I sat down and told myself, it is time for what you want. Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here? Those 3 questions. And I had to go on my own journey of self-discovery. What are the things I'm skilled in? What are the things I've had natural passions for? What are the things I've been able to do? I went on both a spiritual journey and a self-discovery journey. And I found what I was going to do. And I was ready for it. So I remember I reached out to a consulting firm then. I sent them a mail. I'd asked that I wanted to come in to volunteer and work for free. Because I had come to know that this is what I had been doing, for years for free. When I got out of school, I spent 1 year before I went for my youth service. I would gather young people. I saw that there were a lot of people. I never liked the people who went to university, maybe went to secondary school. They spent about 3 years at home. Young people not gotten admission into school. Some of them are just there. I used to organize leadership programs. Some of them, I'll teach them about the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, the psychological aspect, how to prepare themselves to pass their exams and all those kind of things. Then I'll bring what we call here lesson tutors, people to come and teach them, some of my friends to teach them some of the subjects. And there was a high turnout. Many of them who were, having challenges with getting admission, get admission into university. Many of them who were not doing well, started becoming great leaders. I remember one day my dad even told, because he knew my internal struggles at home, he told me, these people that you are mentoring, he hit me, will grow up and meet you and find out that it's as though there's not, and that respect that they have for you, may not be there. I know it was out of love. So when I found what it was, I was willing to go and learn like an apprentice. I sent a mail. The company accepted for me to come in to work with them for free. Now, this is another thing. When you are ready to make your right resolves, life will test you. That's something you should never forget. Life will test your resolve, to be sure. So I was at home for some time. I was not working. I was not doing my business again. I became a family social responsibility, if you understand what that means. My younger sister would give me money. My brother would give me money because they were helping me to offset my debts and all that and all that. The week I was to start this work that I was going to be doing for free, my brother's mother-in-law got me a job in Abuja. And I was with a car and a house, I think about 250,000. This was about 10 years ago. And I turned it down. Oh, what? Oh,
because I've been angry.
Oh, heaven, everybody was like, what in the world? My dad was not in the country. He called, I spoke with him. No, but at this point, my mind was made up. I remember I showed my mom the letter I wrote to somebody who is my mentor. That was the first time I was able to pour my heart out. She was crying I've been going through this challenge all these years. I didn't speak to anybody and all that. But my dad was a bit, saying, blah, 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 blah. He was like, how can you were in debt, you were owing, people have been helping to offset. Now, an opportunity had come for you. I didn't need to do an interview. They had worked the whole thing out for me. I'll move to Abuja, I'll have a house, I'll have a car. And then that amount of money, and I said no. So my other brother then called me and said, well, if you want to follow your dreams, that's fine. But that you know that you need to become self-sufficient. I said, I know. God will help me. And then they just said, okay, go to the woman, that's his mother-in-law, and just tell her thank you, and you know, turn down the offer, but appreciate her for her help. So I went to her house that morning, and she asked me what my decision. I said, thank you, ma'am, for the offer, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to be taking it. She laughed. She said, okay, what do you want to do? I told her. She laughed. She said, I know what you want to do is when people retire, that means they've worked for several years and then they retire. They now become consultants and all those kind of things. And all that. I don't want to take care of your family out of good concern. And my mind was made up. Her husband was there. And I mean, they've grown through the career. The husband has a very fantastic and inspiring journey in his career. I spent over 5 hours with them. He told me his entire story. But, you know, I had gotten to that point where I knew what I wanted. And I knew that I wanted it to be aligned with why I'm here in this world. So my mind was made up. And I stepped out, followed what I had known I wanted to do. And you see, it was a challenging journey, but I stayed through. I stayed through it. I mean, having to work, I was driving from my house to my work. Thank God I had a car, about over 1.5 hours journey. I have to leave my house about 5 or 5:15 for it to be that 1 hour journey. So if I leave at 6 or 6:45, it might be a 3-hour journey. Here, the traffic is something else. So I leave very early in the morning like that to go to work for free. But for me, it was not about the money. I wanted to develop the capacity because there are 3 things: talent, skill, business. You might have the talent, but you need to develop the skill. If you don't develop the skill, you will frustrate that talent that you have. And that's where people make a lot of mistakes. So you develop skill, then also you now need to learn how to make that skill or expertise or whatever it is become a business for it to become profitable. You can't jump ranks. So if you have the talent and you want to jump to the business, you're making a mistake. So I had a talent which was raw. I needed to fine tune it and develop the skill set for it. So that's what I was ready, and that was what I was passionate for at that time. And of course, by God's grace, because it was a natural for me, I was able to go fast, learn fast. It was, you know, time had gone in quotes, time had elapsed. A lot of my friends had started working, doing amazing things. So I knew that I needed to double track my efforts. So it was later on my youngest that started reminding me, because I'll come back from work and resume work. I would spend hours practicing. I would spend hours researching. I come back from work sometimes from 10 o'clock till about 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. I'm on my own doing my research, practicing all the skills that I've learned. I was doing so much. So when people came out and saw the outstanding result, they didn't understand that there was some back end to the things I was doing. Even my colleagues where I was working, they were amazed at how I was able to, you know, grow fast. But the secret was I was not sleeping. I made a lot of sacrifices. And I have been, you know, suggestively, of course, they reminded me now, is it not Kelechi? Is it not the movement he has been making? He moved from this other course to this other lane, to this other lane, to this other lane. So everybody was, I say, almost trying to wait for the next move. But you see, it's about 9-10 years. All that has happened is that I've just had more expressions, increased expressions of that which it's a natural for me to do. You know, and that's one of the things that it's helping me now in the work that I'm doing, because even though this COVID is there and all that, I have been able to look inwards. And that's why I said this story to you. Those 3 questions are very, very, very vital. The skills, the gifting that everybody has, the expertise. Some people have creative things that they know how to do. They are in these 3 things. So if you don't find them, it will be difficult for you to get those expressions. Because the money may be there, the fulfillment may not be there. And trust me, there's nothing like doing something you are fulfilled. There are many things that money cannot buy. One of the things money can buy is fulfillment. And the point will come where, like times like this, where people have not been in their natural, they find it, those are the people that are finding it difficult to adapt or adjust. Because if there was something aligned to what it was a natural for them, they will be able to find some way of expressions. So that's just one of the things I just wanted to really, really point out to us today. Because then I like to ask a lot of questions. So another question I would like to put out there to you: what's your disposition about yourself? What's your disposition about life? Number 3, what's your disposition about this COVID-19? These are 3 important questions. What's your disposition about yourself? So if wherever you are, you can do this exercise later. I am, and in all honesty, write out what you know as yourself, not what you think. I'm not, and this is not some fake talk. Be real. I am, and what are the things, when you think about yourself, what are the first thoughts that come to you? How do you see yourself? Be honest about it. Be very honest, because if you don't give yourself honest feedback, you will not get honest results. Secondly, what is your disposition about life? You answer that one as life is. I don't want to give you any suggestions, but what is life to you? But answer it like life is, and give yourself a long sentence. You can do this later, but it's very, very important. Then number 3, what is your disposition about this present situation? So this present situation is, you answer those questions. Why are they important? Because your mindset is very critical for times like this. And I define mindset as a mental disposition that determines how you interpret any situation. So I can tell you for free that there are 2 different people that we have in the world today. Some people have seen COVID-19 as a problem. But to some people, COVID-19 is an opportunity. Many people in the world have made more money now than they have probably made. And I'm not telling you the major players around the entire COVID-19, issues and all that. I'm not dealing with whether it's controversial or not. No, I mean those who are not even among the players at all, who have made more money now. My wife is a banker. So I know that when they went to the office, I know what she told me. She came back shocked. And when she told me what some people brought into the bank to deposit, I was like, in this lockdown? She said, yes, cash, legitimate business. She said she had to even call one of the women out and ask her, please, madam, please, what do you do? And the woman told her, because she was shocked, she was surprised. What do you do? So is this a problem or is this an opportunity? It's your mindset, how you interpret it. Now, the other aspect is the attitude, because people make, they're not the same mindset and attitude. The attitude is what we see. The attitude is now what will determine how you respond. But your response will be based on your mindset. So if you see it as a problem, your mind will shut down and just say, let us wait and see till the government solves our situation. Let's wait and see what will be. They say what will be, will be. What you cannot control, let's leave it like that. And we use these very nice cliches to hook ourselves in. But you can say to yourself, wow, this is an opportunity. So even though I might not work like I used to, even though I might not be able to move around now like I used to, how can this be an opportunity for me? Once you see that, your mind opens to begin to see things differently. And then there are opportunities in your family. There are opportunities for those of you who are married, for you to bond more with your children. There are opportunities for business. And that's another thing I say to people, what can you do around this time that can maintain some level of liquidity? Nobody is saying drop your dreams, but how can I be involved in the supply chain? Some things are happening, and this is all over the world. I know that different countries may have their own different ways, but one thing I can say for free is that some people have made, because, in our church, the pastor said, and I just want to make a statement that he said, he was talking about money, and he said, What happens to money? Money leaves some people's hands. And what does it do? It enters the hands of some other people. It's a medium of exchange. So nobody has locked money down anywhere and say, oh no, because there's a lockdown. All the money that was made and was available and is still available now, nobody is printing more money. The only issue is that it is changing hands. Some people who were holding on to it before are not able to hold on to it. Some other people are now holding on to it. So that's one of the things you need to look at now is, how am I going to respond? How am I going to respond? Because if you don't do that, then forget it. And then you come back to those 3 questions, because in there you start finding yourself, what are the skills that I have? What are the giftings that I have? What are the things that I know I can do naturally? What are the things I can also learn? Because one thing I've also known is that you can learn anything as long as your mind, you've made up your mind, you will learn. I've spent more time during this period learning. I mean, there are many things I do because I've always been a very curious person. Some things you can learn, you can monetize. Some things you can learn, it can help you in your career, the work you're doing. Some things you can learn, it can help for career switch. So like now that this is happening, they're still hiring people. Organizations are still hiring people. But there is a certain category of people that they want to hire now who have some form of skill sets. So the wise person now is, what are the skill sets that are required now? How long can I give myself? Is this something I can learn within a week, a month, 2 months, depending on the duration you're giving yourself? So learn it. I found out somebody who got a new job in the US. He's in Nigeria, he's a Nigerian. And I saw online now he just got a new job. What I did immediately, I went to go and research his name. I'm sure he doesn't know till now. I researched his name. I found him on LinkedIn, and I found that he just did a course, a certification, a course on telework. Remote work.
Okay. In
April. He got this job in May. Now, this job he got is a job that they are supposed to work virtually for about 2 months or 2 to 3 months here in Nigeria because of the pandemic. Afterwards, he will be moving to the United States to continue the work.
Okay.
So he was smart. What did he do? Say, if I'm going to do a remote work, how can I show to my employers or as prospective employees prospective employers that I am capable. He went and did that work. So on his CV, it is there that he has acquired some skill sets in doing remote work.
In just 1 month.
Why will he not, just 1 month? Why will he not get the job? So that's something each and every one of us can be looking at. Those of you listening to me now, your work, even if your work was, maybe you had a job loss or your office has been shut down, people are still being hired. But maybe that your skill set is not what they need. So what stops you from taking some of these courses and then reapplying for the jobs that require those skill sets? Data analysis, for example, is a big deal now. It's a big deal. Anybody who can learn that, I mean, you're going to be hot cake all over the world, and they don't need you to come to the office. You can analyze data, business analyst, and just giving a few from anywhere in the world.
You can franchise.
What stops you from learning it? What stops you? So it's very important that we develop skill and go beyond your horizon. Last year, for example, I have a web developer who helps me with my websites and everything. But out of curiosity, I started to learn how to build my websites on my own. I started learning how to build websites. And today, some of my organizations and things that are there, I build the website myself. It's not written there, but I do it. Now, I've not monetized it. But the truth is that if push comes to shove, which will not happen, everywhere is locked down, I can start pushing out myself there for freelance as web designer. Nobody will know, and that's an extra source of income for me. There are freelance sites where they don't even know who are. This man is a international speaker. You don't need to put all those profiles. Put up a profile of what to do. Put up samples of some jobs there, and you get jobs earning in dollars, seated at home you're making money. But if you see this pandemic as a problem, and that's where I want to close with, your mind will shut down. So you begin to think around this now. What can I learn? As an entrepreneur, the same thing. What businesses that can I get involved in now? What are the things I can do from the comfort of my home? Some of you who are probably outside the country and all that, you are even in a space where you have access to data. I mean, you have fantastic internet than what we have in Africa here. Wow, there's a lot you can do. I know there's a lot you can do. And sometimes there are things you do when they say you're coming from these developed countries and you try to hit here in Africa. They want to listen to you. You'll be amazed at how people are making money, creative things. Yesterday, I watched a video about a lady in Nigeria here who makes interlocking tiles. She recycles them from sachet water. That's in Lagos here. We have this water that is a package in nylons. It's called sachet water. So she gets the remains. I mean, people dump these things and bins and all that, but she has been able to work out with a lot of people and individuals and some communities. They gather these things for her, and she's been able to recycle it at that local level into interlocking tiles. I saw it yesterday and I said, oh dear God, nobody has any reason in this life to suffer. That's what I said to myself. But people have been seeing that sachet water, some people drink, you just throw it away. To some people, it's refuse. To some other people, it is money. So you must start thinking around it. What is stopping you from pursuing what you truly want? What is stopping you? If you had a blank check, imagine God give you a blank check and just tell you that from the bank of Almighty God, what do you want? It's up to you to think around it. To think short term, think long term. Right now I'm making my plans, and I'm making my plans that even if for the next 1 year, things don't stabilize, which nobody's expecting. But how can I still make sure that there's a bit of sustainability in the work that I'm doing? How am I sure that there's liquidity? I can still make money. So I'm not sleeping. People have been watching film on Netflix. I'm not watching movies. I don't have, no. I can't be watching people who have been successful. So all these people are paid millions of dollars, and right now they can chill on their savings for the next 1 year. No, I'm learning every day, diversifying. So you can diversify your skill sets. Another thing I also want to add there, diversify. As long as it still has a way of bringing you, connected to it, go for it, go for it. And please be careful of the relationships that you are keeping at this point. What you're accessing, what you're feeding on plays a great role. So I stopped since 1 month ago from going to these news sites to be checking up every day what's going in America, what's going in my own country. I just stopped. I stopped because what the heck? What am I looking at it for? When I can't really do anything about these numbers. So I just check once in a while and I go off. I'm feeding myself around things that can build myself. Because the truth is that if you don't feed yourself with the right information, they will haunt you even at the time you don't prepare. I mean, I shared a story once about somebody who needed to travel to Lagos and travel by air from one city to another city. And before that time, he had watched a lot of, this was many years ago, unconsciously he had watched a lot of news reports, on CNN and other news stations about plane crashes that had occurred. At that period of time, there were a lot of plane crashes. And you know how it is, even if it's just 1 or 2 plane crashes, you go on these news sites, they're talking about it. You move to another news site, they're talking about it. You look at another news site. It looks as though if you moved to 6 different sites, your mind might interpret it as there were 6 different plane crashes. Meanwhile, it was just 1 plane crash. And so he was one morning, he got an emergency and he needed to travel out of the country. Travel out from a city to another city by air. Everything was normal until he got on the plane and the plane was about to take off. All of a sudden, the whole thing just, he told me it was his worst flight ever. I mean, he prayed, but he learned a lesson. So I'm saying that because you might unconsciously be feeding on information about this pandemic. You move from this news station to this website. to this one, and you open here, they tell you the next 18 months things will not come back to normal. They say to you that this one, this country has moved into recession. You go to this one, your country has moved into recession. You don't know anything is going on. Then one day you have put up all your entire business plan and everything together. You're about to launch, then the whole thing just comes. Shh, who is going to buy? Did you not say the country is in a recession? Who has money? Who will buy your product? Blah, blah. All those things come like a surge. Then all your hard work, as though everything just comes crawling. And you lose faith in yourself and whatever it is that you're doing. So be careful of what you are feeding yourself with. There are friendships I'm not relating with now. There are people I'm not relating with now. I've unfollowed them. I don't want to see them on my timeline because you don't want to feed. Because these things happen subconsciously. The information that you access that go to your conscious and subconscious. Some people also call it your unconscious mind. And it's a storehouse.
True.
And you don't have control over it. These things can pop up at any time. So what you are feeding on at this point matters. It doesn't matter how difficult things may be in your city. People are progressive, making progress, advancing at this time. Why should it be you? Why should it be you? So stay determined, take little steps, have what you call the staying power, that no matter what happens, I'm not going to give up. That's why it's good for you to have mentors, have coaches, have people that you can be accountable to, have quality relationships. Very, very important. They would help you, in ensuring that you go through this process, and please don't fold your hands. Get to work. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. I'm already more inspired than I was before we started. Thank you so very much. Viewers out there, you've heard from the horse's mouth 3 important points. Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here? Success is only a result of predetermined goals. So we are so grateful to Mr. Kelechi. So right now we'll be taking some questions, some commentaries as well. Afalabi, you would help with that. So if you have any online, let me know, or you can take them as well. So send us your questions, your comments, write it in the page, the YouTube page. Let us know what you would want him to answer. A lot of things have been said. He's giving you more of the inspirations of what you should do at this moment. Maybe you want to ask some, questions that are more specific on the things that probably you're already indulging yourself in, and you will need guidance and coaching in those areas. So you could kindly put them down and let us know so we can ask them at the moment. So Afolabi, what do you think? What's it?
Absolutely, MOJ. I'm kind of very, very refreshed personally. I think this session is actually for me as well. And moving on from that, there are quite a number of questions on ground. Okay. I don't know which one to start.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Shoot.
Let me go with the business one. I think this person is quite curious. It's one of our viewers online on Facebook. It's coming straight from Facebook. He said, what are the type of businesses one can do from home at this lockdown season? What are the kind of business you would like to suggest to our numerous viewers to embark on to earn a living for themselves in this season of COVID-19?
Well, I will be doing you disservice if I make any suggestions from here. Why I'm saying that is because different countries would have, it depends on the country you are and what things go on there. So your work, and don't be too quick to look for answers. Be quick to make your research, to make informed research. Because what the business you should be looking at now is business that can solve problems. So you look back and ask yourself, what problems exist, in my environment, in my community, in my country, wherever you are, what are the problems that are there? And how can you solve those problems? There are many things. So find the one that works. There are freelance, on top of my head, there are a lot of freelance opportunities that you can do. But not everybody might be willing or able to do the freelance. So if you're not doing the freelance, there are other things. you'll be surprised that on your streets, maybe there are no close supermarkets and people require groceries, or there's some people have not eaten cake for a while and they just want, the what do you call them? Some of the eateries or the fast food joints might be closed or too far away. They don't want to drive, and you know how to make nice cookies, or you know how to make nice meals of that nature. Something can be put out there somewhere. One maybe put out a stand in front of your house, especially those of you outside the country where you don't have fences, unlike Nigeria here. You can put something in front of your house and people can see it. That's something. But the first thing I want to say is go back and make your research. What are opportunities come through problems?